During most of the year, Davos is just like any other ski resort in the Swiss Alps where watching being watched is part of the daily routine for the rich and famous who spend their holidays there. But in January, for 1 week every year, the little town becomes super important. During this week, all the big shots, varying from politicians to influential CEOs, from all around the world arrive in their private jets for their annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. Then Davos turns into the hotspot, where billionaires rub elbows with presidents and where the fate of the world is supposedly decided. So how do you convince these titans of industry and politicians to brave freezing temperatures and inconvenient travel schedules? Well, it's simple really, celebrities. And so, at the beginning of every year, the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum kicks off in style. Normally with over 3,000 participants from 120 countries, it is a veritable who's who of the cream de la cream of society. Nowadays, over 50 heads of state and governments attend Davos. It varies per year, but to name a few, among them are Li Qiang, Premier of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Zelensky, President of Ukraine and the Prime Minister of France, Emmanuel Macron. They are accompanied by musicians such as will.i.am, Sting, Oscar-winning actress Michelle Yeoh from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and business leaders such as OpenAI boss Mr. Sam Altman and Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff. But there are many, many more. Throughout the week, all these prominent figures discuss pressing issues like economic growth, energy security, and climate change. It's puzzling why so many powerful individuals go out of their way to attend an event that's been controversial since its beginning. Strangely enough, the forum itself has not done much to dispel these controversies. In fact, it often stirs the pot by promoting ideas in ways that are sure to spark debate and sometimes even backlash. To understand this, we first need to answer some vital questions. So, what exactly is the World Economic Forum? And why does it command such attention? How did the forum become so influential? And what are the real issues that often get overlooked? Let's break all these questions down in simple terms. To understand why the World Economic Forum, or in short WEF, matters, we need to go back to where it all began. Unlike big organizations, founded by governments such as the International Monetary Funds or the World Bank, the World Economic Forum started small. It was founded in the beginning of the 70s by Klaus Schwab, a wealthy German investor, engineer, and business professor. At first, it was called the European Management Forum and focused on helping European businesses. So far, so good. But as time went on, the World Economic Forum got bigger, and it showed a keen interest in bigger issues and even on a global scale. Due to the World Economic Forum's partnerships with major corporations and its role as a platform for networking and idea exchange, its influence in shaping global economic agendas increased dramatically over the years. But as the World Economic Forum grew, people also started to wonder about its real intentions. They get a lot of its money from big corporations. It is a public secret that becoming a member of the World Economic Forum can be quite pricey, ranging from 60,000 Swiss francs to 600,000 Swiss francs, depending on how involved you want to be. In dollars, this is more or less the equivalent of 68,000 to 680,000 US dollars. Let that sink in for a moment. The amount of money you pay to become a member also determines how much influence you will have within those little gatherings. No wonder that, while this money keeps the World Economic Forum going, a growing number of people outside this elite bubble are of the opinion that the organization is too influenced by their paying members and might not always act in everyone's best interest. Ever since the beginning, the World Economic Forum claims that her aim is to improve the state of the world and for everybody's well-being. Nice thought indeed, and if you share this belief and you feel that you can contribute to the World Economic Forum in this ambitious endeavor, think again. Because not anyone can just waltz into Davos. Attendance is strictly by invitation only, and who gets those golden tickets? Well, not you, that is for sure. The attendees are only the wealthy and influential elite, the bigwig corporate types, of course. And it might indeed be all champagne and caviar at Davos for the attendees, but scratch beneath the surface and you'll find a whole lot of controversy. Because despite its lofty mission, The World Economic Forum has faced criticism for its perceived influence on political and business policy decisions. Partnerships with the World Economic Forum don't come cheap. Yet, ironically, income inequality is supposedly on the agenda. With approximately 1,000 member corporations, the forum holds considerable sway, inviting a select few delegates based on membership tiers to its annual meeting. Even partners of the World Economic Forum shell out hundreds of thousands of dollars for a seat at the table, raising eyebrows at a gathering meant to address the growing wealth gap. And let's not forget the environmental double standards. While Davos attendees love to talk about saving the planet, many of them jet in and out on their private planes, leaving a hefty carbon footprint in their wake. For years, the international environmental organization Greenpeace has been criticizing and recently published a report about the air traffic around the 2022 forum. This recent study ordered by Greenpeace International reveals that during the 2022 World Economic Forum week, more than 1,000 private jets flew to and from airports near the Swiss mountain town of Davos. This led to CO2 emissions from private jets being 4 times higher than usual for that week, equivalent to those of about 350,000 average cars during the same time period. Many flights to Davos were short, whole trips, and Greenpeace claimed that they could have been done by train or car instead. And also, let us not forget there is that thing called the Great Reset, a vision outlined by Schwab and economist Mr. Thierry Malloret in 2020 for rebuilding society after the pandemic. While its goals of climate action and equality aren't new, critics question the feasibility and sincerity of Schwab's solutions. What were his notorious words again? Own nothing and you will be happy. Sounds a lot like socialism in the extreme, or even communism. That is a thought that doesn't work in the West. We are all equal, except me, because I have to decide what everybody else gets, meaning that the elite within the World Economic Forum decides what you can and can't have. Not a pleasant thought. The Forum is very much aware that it is surrounded by controversy, and if it wants to improve its image, the organization has to make some changes. One of the main issues is that it is projected as undemocratic as it takes place outside the traditional political institutions, namely in a Swiss ski resort. But they don't do this, and this lack of transparency raises rightful suspicion among citizens, especially when no clear outcomes are shared, ever. This lack of trust in democracy is only exacerbated when leaders meet in such closed settings. Is the World Economic Forum really the force for good as it claims to be? Or is it just a playground for the rich and powerful to pat each other on the back? The truth about Davos should be that it is simply a big conference where important people from businesses and politics get together, where attendees openly discuss various issues facing the world. But here's the catch. It's a place where powerful folks come together to push their own interests, even if it means not living up to the values they talk about. And that can be pretty disappointing for those who want to see genuine progress. So, you decide, beyond the glitz and glamour lies a complex network of power dynamics and influence peddling. It's a place where deals are struck, alliances are forged, and the future of global economics is shaped. But remember, while Davos may be shrouded in mystery and controversy, one thing's for sure. Those parties are definitely worth crashing. Thank you for tuning in, and take care.